Later, the high-flying research into how birds choose their favourite tree.
There's nothing quite like dawn in the Australian bush. That crisp scent of eucalyptus and the chorus of kookaburras. But have you ever noticed how some parts of the bush are quieter than others? It's as if the birds have got their own favourite trees. Well, scientists had puzzled about this for some time, and when Dr. Harry Recker from the Australian Museum did some surveys, he discovered that where a couple of different kinds of gum tree grow together in a forest, all the birds ended up in one sort of eucalypt rather than another. Dr. Recker suspected that this feathered favouritism had something to do with insects and the places that they preferred. In southwestern Australia, the same sort of thing seems to happen. The marri trees are full of birds. By comparison, the jarrah are silent. So research colleague Dr. Jonathan Majors decided to investigate. Now, it's one thing to suspect that different species of trees have a popularity rating with insects, but how do you find out for sure? Using a cherry picker, some large nets and a lot of fishing line, they've come up with an ingenious and reliable way of shaking all the bugs out of the branches.
We started off by adapting a technique which I'd used elsewhere in Africa. We placed 5 by 5 metre sheets down underneath the foliage and then sprayed the canopy above with a natural pyrethrum pesticide, and the insects and other invertebrates, frogs and snakes occasionally, fell down onto the sheets.
These days, Dr. Majors festoons each tree with small nets. And by the time he's finished, they look rather like giant Christmas decorations.
12.5 metres.
A brief spray with a low toxic pesticide brings all the insects tumbling down. Then the nets are lowered and the collecting begins in earnest. Sometime later, Dr. Majors begins the laborious business of sorting the beetles from the bugs.
6 mites, 17 spiders, 9 cockroaches.
On a good day, he'll net anything up to a couple of thousand tiny creatures.
Adult flies, 5, 16 ants.
When they're all accounted for, he's got a who's who of insects for one particular neck of the woods. Ants are often high on the list and can give a very good indication of which kinds of trees are most popular.
Here, as you can see, we have the series of ants which obtained from one knockdown in the jarrah. We've only got about 30 ants there, whereas here we have some ants which obtained from a similar area of plantation up in the Kununurra area. I don't think we're going to find quite that many in our forests that we're looking at, but the point still holds that there are great differences between the foliage of the different trees.
It's thought that natural poisons in the leaves of some trees make them distasteful to insects. And it's now been confirmed that jarrah trees, which the insects shun, have more than twice as much of the toxic substance polyphenol in their leaves as the marri trees. Whatever the explanation, the study is continuing to point up differences in the eucalyptus popularity stakes. And that result could have far-reaching implications. It's common practice these days to log our native eucalypt forests for whatever reason. But when those forests are replanted, the blend of species that are put back could easily favour, inadvertently, the kinds of trees that insects avoid. If that happens, we may well find that parts of our bush that used to resound with birdsong suddenly fall silent. For all our technological prowess, the last laugh will then be on us.